Lila Voss bullied me since childhood. She was a pure violent girl, always calling me little brother, forcing kisses, pushes, and hugs. She'd stop at nothing. Years later, when I entered university, she had become a famous campus beauty, quiet, elegant, noble, and aloof, a goddess embodying all feminine halos, the ideal dream girl in every male student's heart. I thought she had really changed, but when alone with her, I discovered she hadn't changed at all. No one knows how crazy her demonic nature is, how smelly her feet are in those white stockings she loves to wear, or how much it hurts when she kicks me. The freshman ceremony, hosted by East University's Campus Beauty, was about to begin. On stage, the star appeared. A graceful figure slowly approached, wearing a pure white dress, her face beaming with smiles, every gesture full of charm. All the male students cheered. So beautiful. So this is East University's Campus Beauty. This is the pure goddess. I studied so hard to get high scores just to meet such a beautiful and intelligent woman. Like everyone else, I was stunned by her beauty, but also felt something familiar. Some ambitious freshmen openly declared they would pursue the campus beauty, make that pure face show shy, feminine expressions, and make her fall completely for them. The upperclassmen looked on with disdain. In their hearts, the campus beauty was the purest, most sacred goddess. They were content just to have her stand there. Who would dare to pursue her? "Hello, everyone," she said. "I'm Lila Voss from the finance department. As a representative, I'd like to extend a warm welcome to all new students and faculty." Hearing her name, I was suddenly stunned, standing dazed in the wind. I never would have imagined that my junior high and senior, Lila Voss, would also be at East University. After the freshman ceremony, I quickly fled back to my dorm, afraid of being discovered by her. In the following days, I often heard people talking about Lila Voss. They said she was so pure, clean, and flawless, like an untouched jade, so unattainable. I sneered inwardly. That woman was definitely not as simple as she looked. One day, some campus part-time job flyers caught my eye. My family was relatively poor, my parents were divorced, and only my grandmother was willing to take me in. To reduce the financial burden on her, I decided to work to support myself. After an interview with a personnel officer, 3 people were successfully hired, and I was one of them. My social anxiety was still a bit severe, and most of what I wanted to say didn't come out, but fortunately, my technical skills were up to par. She also said that the female boss would come to see me later herself. I nodded and sat on a chair, feeling a little anticipation. After a while, a girl walked in, wearing a white fleece coat, with a smile on her face. The person who came was Lila Voss. How could it be such a coincidence? I stood up directly, with a look of disbelief. The other male students who had also come for interviews were instantly ecstatic. Lila Voss had a faint smile on her face, like a flower about to bloom, every move of hers captivating their hearts. Now, she really was elegant, noble, mature, and sensible. I had no idea that Lila Voss of the finance department, in addition to being the most dazzling campus belle, also held the title of a successful campus entrepreneur and celebrity. The place I had come to was one of her studios. It had been several years since I last saw her, and she had become even more beautiful. Shoulder-length hair, a delicate and graceful face, a well-developed figure, from petite and perky to rounded and full. A large bow was worn on one side of her hair, further accentuating her pure and clean aura. Facing her, I instinctively felt a little shaky. After the chat, she dismissed the others, but left me alone in the living room and locked the door. I immediately sensed something was wrong and wanted to run away, but Lila Voss directly stopped me. The corners of her mouth curved up slightly as she threw herself into my arms. "Little brother, long time no see. After so many years, you didn't miss your big sister?" My head was spinning from the impact of her large breasts. "You're using your breasts as a weapon? Do you think just because you've gained weight, I will submit to you?" "Oh, what do you mean by gain weight? I'm in great shape. It's been so long, and you're still so naughty. I can't wait anymore. It's been years since I've seen you." Lila Voss reached out her demonic claws, wanting to grab my face. I grabbed her claws in retaliation, but never expected her strength to be so astonishing. A sly smile spread across Lila Voss's face. "Little brother, you're still not good enough." She was still the same, a little devil. She grabbed my face and kissed me directly, fiercely. This was not a kiss at all. She was biting me. What pure and innocent. What clean and untouchable. What obedient and sensible. You're really crazy. I pushed her away directly, but she continued to bite me, acting like a mad dog. The more I resisted, the harder she bit. I could only slump on the sofa, letting her take what she wanted. Compared to before, she now had even less restraint. When both of our breaths were getting ragged, Lila Voss smacked her lips, stood up quite satisfied, her cheeks flushed, feeling somewhat unfinished. In the end, I was forced to stay and work for her, a monthly salary of 10,000 yuan, and I had to be her pet for 1 hour every day. I had no room to refuse. During the kiss, she had also deliberately taken a photo that could easily be misunderstood to threaten me. I was already in her clutches. If I disobeyed her in any way, I would be notorious. She was just that domineering and rude, just like before. After leaving the living room, I saw those colleagues who were all excitedly talking about their salaries and benefits. They said that they worked 5 hours a day and earned 4,000 yuan a month. I didn't know what to say. My salary for being Lila Voss's pet was twice theirs. At that moment, those colleagues suddenly looked at me with envy. They all said I was very lucky to have the chance to talk to the campus belle alone. They were also a bit confused, asking why there were several red bite marks on my white shirt and even clear teeth marks on my neck. Just thinking about it made me angry. It was that crazy woman in the room who bit me. In the room? Are you talking about Lila Voss? Those boys laughed. Bro, you can fantasize, but don't drag our goddess into it. Yeah, are you living a pipe dream? How dare you slander our East University campus belle? It's speechless. I thought we could get along, but I didn't expect you to be the kind of person who just spews lies. I was unable to defend myself, and it was impossible to explain. In their eyes, Lila Voss had become a deity. Back in the dorm, I received a message from Lila Voss telling me to be in her office on time tomorrow. I'm about to be controlled and dominated by her again, which inevitably made me recall that dark period in the past. In junior high, I was an unremarkable boy in the class, socially awkward, with poor grades, ordinary looks, and a broken family. I was also ignorant and confused about love, yet full of yearning. I often fantasized about finding a sexy, long-legged senior in black silk, or a knowledgeable, mature female teacher to be my life mentor. During my time at school, the goddess I most yearned for was a third-year senior, 2 years older than me, named Lila Voss. Back then, she was very graceful and slender, her grades were top-notch, and she knew how to dress up, often wearing beautiful clothes that made countless ignorant junior high students fantasize. One summer, during a heavy rainstorm, I encountered Lila Voss sitting on a swing in a shabby park, getting soaked. I mustered my courage, organized my thoughts, and jogged over, splashing through the puddles, and held my umbrella over her. Who are you? Lila Voss's eyes were gloomy like stagnant water, empty and lifeless. She was wearing a shirt and a long skirt, soaking wet, with the incessant drumming of rain around us. When had I ever had the chance to talk to an older senior like this? I immediately became nervous and stammered. She was like a pampered cat drenched by the rain, while I was like a rat crawling out of a sewer. From the first year, here's the umbrella. After thrusting the umbrella at her, I ran away in the heavy rain dejectedly. The words I had rehearsed in my mind were never used. I was too nervous. I was ordinary, with poor grades. How could I ever reach such an unattainable flower? But the next day, she came looking for me. The words she uttered shocked me. Little boy, how about being my boyfriend? You look so delicious. No, I mean you look very kind. I like kind children. My face flushed, and I stood there at a loss, only able to nod in agreement. The days that followed were like a dream. Every day after school, I would secretly meet up with the senior. I was always timid around her, so she was always the one taking the initiative, holding hands, hugging, lip-locking, even testing the boundaries of forbidden territory. Sometimes, to be with her, I would stay out until very late, even facing the possibility of a drunken beating from my father. I was fearless. Lila Voss often appeared very mature around me, but sometimes she would also show a very sorrowful side. Listen, when you grow up, if I'm ever in danger, you have to remember to come and save me. And also, if I ever do anything wrong to you, you have to forgive me. I was puzzled and asked why the senior would be in danger and why she would do wrong. Lila Voss smiled faintly and pinched my cheeks. Being in a desperate situation and being saved by a hero as a girl. Everyone wants to experience it once, right? And besides, I'm not omnipotent. It's normal for me to do something wrong. Hurry up, do you agree? I scratched my head, still confused, but nodded in agreement. She often told me that when I grew up, she would marry me. She also said that we would travel around the world, experiencing the beauty of foreign lands. She said our future children would definitely be smarter and more energetic than other people's. I had never heard such sweet words before, and I took them all seriously, believing they were the unbreakable vows between us. To keep pace with the senior and protect her when I grew up, I started to work harder and stay up late to study. My grades went from the middle of the pack to the top of the class. However, one day in the city center, I saw it with my own eyes. Lila Voss was walking with a handsome and refined man. They were holding hands, chatting and laughing, their actions very intimate. They even left in the same car, hugging each other inside. This scene sent chills down my spine, my heart turning to ash. The beautiful dream was instantly shattered. The thought of her fair hands being held in someone else's filled me with heartache. The thought of her delicate, red lips possibly being taken by another made me feel jealous and anxious. And even worse, it was possible. I was just an ordinary junior high student, and for a woman as bold as Lila Voss, it wasn't impossible that she had slept with someone else. From that day on, I was heartbroken. Whenever I saw her again, the anger in my heart would be uncontrollable. I began to hate her ruthlessness. When she tried to hold my hand, I would quietly move it away. When she wanted to kiss me, I would turn my head to the side. Seeing my cold eyes and indifferent attitude, Lila Voss became enraged. She grabbed my face directly and forcefully bit down. I clearly felt my lip being bitten open, and a metallic taste of blood spread in my mouth. I was intimidated by her aggression, standing there stunned. Lila Voss's lips were also red with blood, and she said harshly, "Why are you looking at me like that? If you do that again, I won't be so nice." Even so, I was still very resistant, because she didn't love me at all. She just thought I was fun to play with. Her biting and hitting were also very impolite. Even when we accidentally met outside, she would always drag me to a deserted alley, messing up both of our clothes. "Little boy, I'm telling you, you can't like other girls in the future. Your first kiss is mine, everything is mine. And after you graduate, you must go to the high school I went to. Otherwise, I'll break your legs." Once, I started to get close to a pretty girl in my class. After Lila Voss found out, she immediately slapped me in the face and hysterically warned me that I could not approach other girls in the future. From then on, I no longer dared to talk to other girls. Finally, after she graduated from junior high, I was freed from her grasp. For high school, I immediately applied to a school in another city, determined to no longer have any contact with her. I also didn't try to find a new girlfriend, partly because I was still rather socially awkward, and partly because I decided to dedicate myself to my studies and strive to get into a good university. Unexpectedly, I would run into her again in college. The freshman military training began. I put on the issued military uniform and trained in the ranks. It's been a while since the start of the semester, and many people in the class have found girlfriends. During breaks, many girls come to give the boys water. I felt extremely envious of this simple, beautiful romance. My roommate, Ethan, still had the campus belle as his target. Otherwise, with his handsome looks and wealth, he could surely find a girlfriend easily. After running 1,000 meters with the ranks, my throat felt a burning sensation. At this moment, some disturbances arose within other classes' ranks. It's the campus belle. The top campus belle of East University's finance department, Lila Voss, is here. She actually came to see our freshman military training. Could she have taken a liking to some boy? So beautiful. I couldn't see clearly in the square before, but up close, she's even more stunning. Hearing that Lila Voss was coming, my heart sank again. Was she going to humiliate me here to her heart's content, to make me look bad in front of all the students? I saw her walk directly to our class's ranks, smiling as she handed me a bottle of mineral water. "Zihan, are you thirsty? Drink some water." Seeing this, the scene went silent. I took the water, immediately opened the cap, took a few sips, and subconsciously handed the bottle back to Lila Voss. Jake, who was standing nearby, was somewhat incredulous. He was my roommate, and also a rich second-generation kid. He had previously declared that he would make Lila Voss his woman. He didn't expect that I had gotten there first. Zihan, why is my goddess giving you water? And you're taking it so calmly. It makes me so angry. Look at yourself, you really have no self-awareness. You're not worthy. The boys around us also began to express their indignation, making it seem like I, the instigator, was a sinner for making the gentle, considerate campus belle so upset. I was at a loss, so I immediately took the water from Lila Voss's hand and took large gulps of it. During this time, I noticed that she also had a playful expression on her face. Zihan, see you next time. I'll bring you water again. If you want to drink something else, then call me. After Lila Voss quickly left, Jake directly grabbed my collar and questioned me. No matter how I explained, they all thought that my relationship with Lila Voss was very unusual. It was indeed very unusual, because I was a slave and she was the master. You can't be together at East University. You don't even have the right to stand in line. No money, no looks. Zihan, if you continue to be in contact with the campus belle, we will take special measures. I had inadvertently incurred the wrath of the masses. That night, the campus forum's top post was the incident of the campus belle delivering water. Campus belle Lila actually gave a boy water, and he's just an ordinary freshman. Flipping through the comments below, most of them were scolding me, and none were scolding Lila Voss. Besides, it truly was a case of a common man possessing a treasure that attracted trouble. Lila Voss, just like yesterday, came to me with a light step to deliver water. During the break, she even boldly leaned on me, looking like a small bird clinging to its nest. I also successfully received a large wave of glares. Several boys even crowded around me, asking what the campus belle smelled like. I answered truthfully, her feet stink. Clearly, it was the truth, but those boys didn't believe it at all, insisting that Lila Voss's long legs under the white silk were fragrant, good enough to make tea with. They really didn't know the pain when Lila Voss had shoved her feet in my face one day after I finished my part-time job. I decided to stay nearby and track Lila Voss's movements. When night fell, I clearly saw her being led into a luxurious Ferrari by a young man, and she sat in the passenger seat. Moreover, the two were being very intimate inside the car. I was furious. Is this the pure and innocent school beauty in people's eyes? She still hasn't changed, always treating me like a plaything. The next day, Lila Voss called me to the student council office. She pressed me against the wall, staring at me with those clear eyes, as if searching for something, wanting to dig out some treasure from my gaze. Responding to her was my cold stare. Hey, little brother, how about always staying by my side? Back when you gave me an umbrella, your eyes weren't this fierce. I want you to show that look from before, that dependent, longing look. That you, at that time, was my favorite, the one I loved most. She said with great infatuation. I just felt it was absurd. It's been so long, and she's still talking about liking me. Who knows how many other men this bitch has behind her back? Does she really want to play with me to the end? Suddenly, footsteps came from outside the door. Lila Voss moved a few steps to lean on the wall and took my hand, creating a scene where I was pinning her against the wall. The door opened, and the students who came in were all stunned. Lila Voss looked at the people outside the door and said in a tender voice, Zihan, there are a lot of people here not here. Seeing her coquettish expression, I was immediately annoyed. This frivolous woman is still acting so fake. Lila, you still want to play me? My blood rushed to my head. I pulled my hand away and slapped her directly. Slap. A loud slap landed on her face. Lila Voss was stunned, and those students looked at me with horrified eyes. To actually slap the pure goddess of East University, this was definitely defying the heavens. I saw that the corners of Lila Voss's mouth were slightly upturned, looking quite happy. Those students directly came to stop me, wanting me to give an explanation, wanting me to kneel down and apologize to Lila Voss. But Lila Voss took the initiative to mediate, and I was able to leave the student council office unharmed. That night, some rumors spread around the campus, saying that I was a violent man who would resort to any means. Some female students, when they saw me, would directly keep 10 meters away, as if a white rabbit had seen a big bad wolf. Even more outrageous was that they said I had a hold on Lila Voss's weaknesses, which was why she couldn't disobey me. In short, my reputation was ruined, and I became a rat that everyone wanted to beat. Even the instructors had heard the rumors, and they all looked at me with displeasure, arbitrarily finding excuses to make me run several thousand meters. One day, after training ended, as I dragged my tired body back to the dormitory, several tall boys blocked my path like a wall. They told me to stay away from Lila Voss, or face the consequences. After saying that, they beat me up badly. Their punches were fierce. I even lost a tooth, and my right leg suffered a minor fracture. They knew the limits of their strength, not hitting my weak spots directly, but the pain was excruciating. That night, I was beaten unconscious and sent to the infirmary. Since my injuries weren't severe, the upperclassmen who'd attacked me were only given a warning. According to the doctor's diagnosis, I needed 3 or 4 days of rest to recover. The next morning, Lila Voss came to visit me early, carrying a large bag of fruit. When she saw me, she stared for a long while, her expression anxious and somewhat solemn. "So you didn't come to me last night, so you were beaten." My anger flared up, and I wished I could get up and fight her. "What do you think the reason is?" "It's all because of you. I suspect you were the one who sent people to beat me, just because I slapped you. You're being this vicious." My words seemed to stun Lila Voss. She stood there for a long time, not regaining her senses. "Did you see something? But you need to know, the only one I've ever loved is you. You're the one I love most." What a joke. The memory of Lila Voss hooking up with other men resurfaced in my mind. She's a bitch, a smooth talker who deceived my young, ignorant self back then. Now, I'd never be led astray by her sweet words again. "Lila Voss, you don't need to lie to me. Don't come near me again. Really, stop disturbing my life." Lila Voss clenched her fists tightly, her eyes reddening instantly, but her gaze gradually turned colder. She sat beside me, taking an apple and a fruit knife from the plastic bag. The cold metallic glint of the knife flashed in front of me, and I felt a surge of fear. Would she strike in the next moment? But Lila Voss started peeling the apple. After quickly peeling it, she cut a slice and tried to put it in my mouth, but I clenched my teeth, refusing to accept her kindness. After a moment of stalemate, she shouted angrily, "Eat. Just eat it. Why won't you? Huh? It's you who insisted on treating me like this." She reached over, trying to pry my teeth open. My nostrils were still filled with the smell of disinfectant, but at that moment, a faint fragrance drifted from her. I finally relented, opening my mouth to finish the apple. During my days in the infirmary, she visited every day, repeating the act of peeling apples, hardly saying a word. Her demeanor was indeed much gentler, like when we were together before, without that forceful edge, without the pressure, as if a single glance between us said everything. I really didn't understand what she wanted. When I was discharged, I suddenly heard that the 3 boys who'd beaten me had been expelled. I had no idea why. Later, I learned they'd received a harsher punishment. According to what I heard, Lila Voss had secretly tracked down the perpetrators. She'd brought a few security guards she'd hired, who held them down while she kicked them mercilessly with her high heels, like stepping on ants. "You actually beat him like this? You deserve to die? You all deserve to die." Lila Voss's face had twisted, her eyes blazing red. She'd even grabbed a baseball bat from the side, swinging it fiercely at them. "In this world, only I can bully him. Only I can hurt him. You don't deserve it." The 3 boys had suffered immense physical and mental harm. The pure goddess, in their hearts, had instantly turned into a vicious demon. Worse, it seemed their ability to have children had been affected. After brutally beating each of them, Lila Voss had immediately taken off her blood-stained high heels and thrown them aside. "Disgusting. You better never appear in front of me again." The next day, while they lay in the hospital, Lila Voss had threatened them into completing their withdrawal procedures. Once my injuries had mostly healed, Lila Voss directly announced on the campus network that I was her boyfriend. As soon as the news broke, all the guys who'd been watching and speculating collapsed in despair. I had no idea until my roommate, Jake, told me fiercely, and as usual, belittled me for a while. My phone number and WeChat were exposed, and I received harassing messages every day, which was infuriating. When I appeared in public, people stared at me with strange looks. One day, Lila Voss insisted I go out for a walk. As we left the school gate, a Porsche slowly pulled up and stopped in front of us. The window rolled down, and Jake gave me a disdainful look. then turned to Lila Voss with a fawning expression. Campus belle Lila, would you honor me with a meal? Lila Voss's lips moved slightly, her light eyes fixed on me. Sorry, Zihan already asked me. I can't go back on my word. Then, Campus belle Lila, could you honor me tomorrow? Tomorrow, I'll be with Zihan too. The day after tomorrow? The day after tomorrow is also Zihan. Jake's face twitched. Zihan, you poor loser. You'll pay for this sooner or later. What does this have to do with me? If you have a problem, yell at Lila Voss. I stood there blankly, silently enduring his insults. At that moment, Lila Voss suddenly grabbed my hand, handed me a car key, and pointed to a nearby Bentley flying spur. I gritted my teeth, walked toward the car with Lila Voss, and under Jake's incredulous gaze, started the engine and drove away. Lila Voss's Bentley was easily one of the top luxury cars parked at the school. She'd never driven it herself, so no one knew who owned it. Now, the owner had finally appeared. It turned out to be Zihan, the guy who'd stolen the campus belle and was hated by everyone. That I was thrilled to receive the Bentley keys from Lila Voss's hand. After all, a luxury car like this was something I might never get to drive in my entire life. Driving the Bentley on the road, even the security guards actively found parking spots for me. I, an ordinary guy, was suddenly labeled as a successful person. Little brother, you don't actually need to do any part-time jobs anyway. If you lack money, I'll just give it to you. Since you're mine, then what's mine is yours. I scoffed disdainfully. That sounds so nice. Then just transfer 1 million to my bank card. Can you do that? If not, then don't talk nonsense. Lila Voss smiled in response. A moment later, my phone pinged. I'd indeed received 1 million in my bank account. I knew her family was rich, but I hadn't expected her to be this wealthy. I fell silent, truly unsure what she wanted from me. At an open-air milk tea shop, Lila Voss ordered only 1 milk tea to share. I was helpless but had no choice but to go along. When we sipped from straws, our faces were almost touching. Other customers glanced over, probably thinking young people these days really knew how to be affectionate. My face flushed with embarrassment, and I wanted to hide in a hole, but Lila Voss just smiled, humming with delight. Afterward, she dragged me to a toy store and stared blankly at the childish rocking horse by the door. A sense of unease washed over me. Little brother, I order you to sit on that rocking horse. 10 coins. My premonition came true. This was something only toddlers touched. Once you sat on it, there was no turning back. But I was still pulled into the seat. Fortunately, Lila Voss fearlessly climbed onto another rocking horse. As the music from Calabash Brothers started, the rocking horses vibrated merrily. The shop owner, a seasoned man, unconsciously reached for his pocket, lit a cigarette, and stared at the two of us on the rocking horses, deep in thought. Passers-by also stopped, sizing up these two brave souls. After rocking for a full few minutes, the Calabash Brothers' tune finally ended. Remembering Lila Voss still had 8 coins left, my face twitched. I immediately dragged her away from the scene. This date, we really did look like a couple in the throes of passionate love. With the million, I transferred half to my grandmother, the only one who'd ever loved me, and splurged the rest. I bought a new outfit, phone, computer, watch, shoes, and even got a fresh haircut at a nice barbershop. After a bit of grooming, Lila Voss held my face like she'd found a new toy, playing with it for a while before saying I'd become much handsomer. On campus, some female students changed their attitude toward me. They no longer sneered when they saw me. Some even started supporting the idea of me being with Lila Voss. At least the verbal attacks had subsided a little. In a political science class, as I focused on taking notes, a tall, handsome male student in an expensive designer suit walked straight toward me. When I saw his face, a wave of disgust surged in my stomach. It was him. I'd never forget that face. The man who'd been hugging Lila Voss back then. Maybe even the one who'd pulled her into that Ferrari. He sat down beside me, looking relaxed, and turned to me. Recently, there's been a lot of gossip about you and Lila Voss. Yeah. Although I don't know what relationship you have with her, I want to make it clear. She's my fiancée. For some reasons, we haven't made it public yet, but as soon as she graduates, I'll marry her. With that, he left. Some female students screamed when they saw him. It's young Master Li. Wow. Is he the heir to Huaqing Group, Li Yumu? He's a famous elite from a prominent family. Young Master Li is so handsome, So charming. Did you see the Ferrari parked near the teaching building? That must be his. He must be here to warn Zihan. Zihan might have some money now, but compared to young Master Li, he's still nothing. Exactly. Li Yunmu and Lila are a match made in heaven. I sat frozen, a strong sense of inferiority washing over me. Soon after, extremely slanderous rumors about me spread across the campus network, ruining my reputation entirely. Lies about me going to hotels with 7 or 8 girls, forcing abortions, even rape. All fabricated. Maybe Li Yunmu spread them, maybe Lila, maybe some secret enemies. It didn't matter anymore. This university had no place for me. Many of my things in the dorm had disappeared. When I asked, my roommates clammed up. In class, no one would sit next to me. I'd become an outcast, surrounded by hostility. Lila Voss had been completely absent lately. She didn't understand my situation, didn't care about my feelings or struggles. Maybe I should just drop out. This place wasn't fit for me anymore. With that thought, I contacted my counselor to start the withdrawal process. She ignored me until I went to her office in person, where she finally agreed reluctantly. The next day, Lila said she wanted to go on a date, probably the last time, since I'd be leaving the university tomorrow. I agreed immediately, wanting to see her hypocritical face one last time. We wandered around all afternoon, then went to a late-night movie. By the time it ended, it was already very late. Lila took me to her off-campus apartment. After we both took hot showers, Lila sat on the living room sofa, wearing only a towel, watching the dazzling city lights through the floor-to-ceiling windows. She lit a cigarette skillfully. It was her fifth, and ashes scattered all over the floor. The towel barely clung to her, threatening to fall, but she didn't seem to care. When I reached for a cigarette, she swatted the pack away. Zihan, don't touch this. Mind your own business. You're the one smoking nonstop. I only smoke when I'm in a bad mental state, Lila Voss said firmly. I'm in this mess because of you. Now I'm notorious. Do you think I'm in a good state? She lowered her head, thinking for a moment, then quickly fetched 2 bottles of expensive red wine from a nearby counter. She raised a glass, urging me to drink. I downed it without hesitation. Before long, both of us were drunk, minds fuzzy. Lila Voss, you don't love me. You love that Li Yunmu, huh? That's ridiculous. You two have been together since middle school, right? And I'm just your toy. Maybe those rumors, you spread them. You just wanted to destroy me. Lila lay on the sofa, silent, staring at me without a word. I angrily climbed on top of her, grabbing her neck. Lila Voss, say something. You hurt me in middle school, ruined my college life, made me an outcast. Her neck was squeezed, veins bulging, but she still looked at me with fiery eyes, a smile playing on her lips. She even lifted a trembling hand to caress my cheek. When her face turned crimson, I let go of her neck and collapsed back onto the sofa. Even if I killed her now, I'd be ruined. Thinking of my grandmother at home, how heartbroken she'd be, spending her remaining years alone, I couldn't let that happen. Lila erupted into violent coughs. After a while, she crawled over and lay on top of me, tearing at my clothes wildly. You bitch, I thought bitterly. I'm just another notch on her belt. But my surging desire was already uncontrollable. The next day, I woke up at noon. Lila had risen early, thoughtfully brewing a pot of tea. My heart softened. Last night, we'd fully merged, spending a night of reckless passion. Lila was like a kitten craving affection, nuzzling me, gently licking my skin, murmuring endless love. When I saw the faint red stain and the trace of pain on her face, I realized it had been her first time. I picked up the teacup, taking a sip. A warm current spread through my stomach. Then, sudden drowsiness washed over me, and I fell back asleep. This tea, something's wrong with it. So cold, so hungry my head hurts. A flood of negative feelings jolted me awake. Outside, it was already dark. When I tried to sit up, I found myself tied to the bed, hands and feet bound, limbs restrained, only my head able to move. A chill ran through me. Lila walked in from the living room, still completely naked, looking at me with utter satisfaction. Lila Voss, I shouted in fear. What the hell do you want? Untie me now. She ignored me, placing a bowl of rice beside the bed. Trapped like this, I had no appetite. Her voice, like a witch's, cooed. Little brother, be good now. We can be together forever. You should be happy. Who told you to keep trying to leave me? Can't you see how much I love you? I just want us to be together always. I was going to drop out. I snapped. Regret hit me. I should have left then. If you hadn't planned to drop out, I wouldn't have had to do this. I was forced to tie you up. She's crazy. There's no reasoning with her. I struggled wildly, but the restraints held fast, rubbing my skin raw. Hours blurred into days. Starving, I mechanically ate whatever Lila fed me. She wiped my body with warm water, and at night, shamelessly toyed with me until she was satisfied. She tended to every need, eating, drinking, even using the bathroom. Days and nights merged, my mind grew numb. One day, Lila stared at a pregnancy test in her hand, smiling triumphantly. We're having a baby. I'm going to burn it all down. Her grin was manic as she hugged herself excitedly. My foggy eyes sharpened. She'd untied me. After so long bound, my limbs moved sluggishly, my body gaunt. I finally understood. Lila did love me, deeply. But she was trapped in a family-arranged marriage, a business alliance between their clans. Once pregnant, her reputation would shatter, the engagement would collapse, and her family's company would face breach of contract lawsuits. Lila laughed wildly, like a vengeful spirit. She'd always hated those who used her, including her parents. From childhood, she'd been strictly controlled, every step, every word policed. She had to excel in music, art, foreign languages, aristocratic etiquette. A single drop in grades meant punishment. No food, locked in her room to reflect for days. In junior high, even though we'd been careful, our relationship was exposed. Her punishment, a month locked in her room, with psychologists sent to correct her. Then she was shipped off to study abroad. Years of oppression forged the perfect, broken version of her today. In university, she'd finally tasted freedom and began plotting her revenge. I thought of my own father, violent and cruel, and my mother, who'd once tried to poison me. That a surge of emotion washed over me. It turned out we'd always been kindred spirits, both trapped in broken, incomplete lives. When I propped myself against the wall, struggling to look around, I realized Lila had already left. A few days later, I returned to my grandmother's house. She didn't ask why I'd grown so thin. She just smiled and welcomed me home. Away from the strange, glittering social circles, life settled into quiet peace. I adopted a stray dog, which would often curl at my feet, staring at the sky with me, both of us aimless. In those days, I asked around about Lila. Her family was searching everywhere for her. With her top grades and sharp skills, she'd been groomed to take a key role in the Voss family's company. No one wanted anything to go wrong. I knew she'd started her revenge. Half a year later, rumors about East University's campus belle, Lila Voss, still swirled. Students guessed she'd been kidnapped by a former thug, sent abroad, or even committed suicide. No one knew for sure. Then, internal secrets about the Voss family's Wanlian group leaked. A wave of accusations and boycotts crashed down, crippling the company. Lila's parents, never high-ranking in the family, took the fall for her disgrace. Bankrupt, they hanged themselves, still cursing their unfilial daughter in their final moments. As for Lee Yunmu, Lila's secret fiancé, he died in a highway crash. Speeding around a bend, his car collided with a truck. His body was crushed beyond recognition. Two famous models in the car suffered the same fate. The truck driver vanished, and many suspected a premeditated murder. One morning, I took the dog for a walk in town. At a bus stop, a woman in a white dress and sun hat stepped off. I paused, waiting for her to approach. "Little brother, long time no see." I nodded at her belly, grinning. "Long time no see. You've put on weight again." She pouted, pinching my waist. "Just laugh. This time, I am actually fat." Woof! The little yellow dog behind me wagged its tail. Lila kicked at it. "Where'd this mutt come from?" "Scram." The dog whimpered, slinking away, looking wronged. "You're still so cruel," I said. We went to a local diner. Our conversation was sparse, but the mood felt right. After the meal, Lila's expression clouded, like she was holding back words. I glanced at her. "What do you want to say?" She bowed her head, shoulders trembling. "Zihan, I know I'm a monster. I indirectly killed my own parents. I've hurt so many people. Now I've got nothing left. Will you save me?" It was the first time I'd seen her so fragile. I was at a loss for words. After a moment, I draped my coat over her shoulders. "Don't say that. Come home with me. Look, it's East University's campus belle. The pure goddess Lila." Summer flames danced in the air. My lover and I walked through the fields, a gentle breeze rippling the golden rice paddies like a sea. Lila squinted, clutching her straw hat to keep it from blowing away. I checked the time. We should head back. The baby's probably awake, hungry, and crying for milk. Lila shot me a playful glare. Raising a kid is such a hassle, but with you here, I can stand it. I took her hand, and in the evening glow, we wandered home.